On September 22nd, 2012, 53 years old Linda Ortega from Blackwell, Oklahoma, traveled to San Jose of Arkansas to visit her brother. On the same day, Linda and her brother went to the woods to find a fishing hole that Linda's brother had heard about. But during the walk, they got lost and stayed together for 3 days. On the third day, somehow they got separated. At the time the two went missing, a search was started. On the third day, Linda's brother made it out of the woods and reported his sister missing, and 2 days after Linda's brother was found, an ATV found Linda 2 miles from the point she was last seen. She immediately was taken to hospital. The things Linda started reporting were interesting. She said during the time she was lost, she wasn't the only one out there in the woods. She claimed there were other people in the woods and she asked for help, but they acted like they didn't even hear her. She said the people in the woods looked right at her without saying a word. She said they were hiding in bushes and they were very weird. Dr. John Sorg of North Arkansas did a mental examination on her and said she was in a good condition and her story was consistent. When Linda started her hike with her brother, she was wearing flip-flops, t-shirt and jeans. She quickly lost her flip-flops. She said to be able to survive, she ate watercress, nuts and berries and drank water from a creek. Linda made a full recovery at the end. On May 20th, 1953, 2 years old Beverly Ann Bradley was in her grandmother's yard in Menominee, Michigan, playing when she somehow vanished. The grandmother tried to find her and after not having any success, she called the law enforcement. This area is very rural with lots of lakes. As soon as the search team was on the scene, a heavy rain started in the area which compromised the search effort. On the first 48 hours, they didn't find anything. But on the 49th hour, a helicopter was 1.5 miles from grandmother's residence when they saw a small figure in the middle of a swamp. The air team directed the ground team to the bundle and they found Beverly Ann alive. The searchers said the place in the swamp where she was found was muddy, wet, full of slashing and slaps. But Beverly's shoes were dry and there was no mud on them. Searchers said they walked directly past the spot where the girl was found earlier and they never saw her there. The sheriff stated it was impossible for the girl to navigate her way through thick bushes of the surrounding and make her way to the swamp alone. When she was found, she was only wearing underpants and a shirt and nothing else. Her overalls were disappeared and her pants were lying in the swamp few feet away from her. The sheriff believed the girl was kidnapped and was trying to gather more information from her. Later, Beverly was questioned and she mentioned she was carried by a car and that she was kept in a house. If someone kidnapped her, why would he come and leave her in the middle of a swamp when there are hundreds of searchers around looking for her? That would be too dangerous for the kidnapper to do. What happened in this case remains a mystery. On January 15, 1987, 17 years old Joseph Helt traveled with some of his friends to an abandoned lodge in the Mount Catalia located at Ellenville in New York. This was the spot that local kids would come to hang out and party. The next morning, Joseph and 3 of his friends decided to go back home in one of Joseph's friend's car. During the drive, they decided to not go directly home but drive to another spot. While they were driving, the car got stuck in the ice and snow. All the guys attempted to push the car out of its hole, but nothing seemed to do it. Joseph decided to hike 5 miles back to Ellenville and he left alone. 20 minutes after he left, 2 other of his friends decided to hike back as well. On January 17th, one day after Joseph left the group, he didn't show up for work and this set off the alarm. His colleagues tried reaching him at home, but they couldn't find him. They called his friends, who in turn called the police, and soon a search effort was organized. As soon as the search started, over the next few days, more than 2 feet of snow fell on the ground, which hindered the search effort. Searchers continued the effort, but it seemed impossible to find any tracks or signs of him among all the snow, so they called off the search after a week. The search was resumed in the spring months around 3 months after Joseph went missing, but they couldn't find any signs that Joseph was ever there. The police stated they have no evidence that any foul play was involved and that this was just a missing case. The spot the car was stuck at is close to Lake Marathonza and there was large exposed rocks around the car. Just northeast of the road there is Witches Hole State Park. Joseph knew this area very well. He spent his whole life driving and riding these roads. He knew how to get home. At the end, this case is still open and nobody knows what happened to Joseph's health.